The detention sphere orbited the dead moon of Cathera 9, a monument to the galaxy's oldest fears. Within its obsidian walls, behind force fields that could atomize a cruiser, lived the creature the Valorian Empire had imprisoned for nearly 4 millennia. They called it the Devourer, the Unmaker, the thing that ended worlds. Orla called it Fluffy. "You can't be serious," Lewis said, watching his partner examine the ancient security protocols with unsettling calm. The corridor leading to Cell 0 was lined with warning glyphs in 17 languages, each one more terrifying than the last. The Emperor himself said anyone who approaches that thing dies screaming. The Emperor also said humans were fascinatingly reckless when he hired us. Orla's fingers danced across the holographic interface, her brown eyes reflecting the amber light of the access codes. Besides, nothing's died screaming in there for 3,000 years. The automated feeding system broke down, remember? That's why we're here. Lewis adjusted his supply pack, the weight of the nutrient capsules suddenly feeling inadequate. Right. Because when an apex predator from the before times hasn't eaten in 6 months, the smart move is to hand-deliver its lunch. The massive door began to iris open, layers of reinforced durasteel peeling back like the petals of some mechanical flower. A low rumbling sound echoed from within, something between a growl and a vibration that Lewis felt in his bones. 30 seconds, the automated voice announced. Life signs detected. Threat level, extinction class. Orla stepped through without hesitation. The cell was enormous, a cathedral of darkness punctuated by dim bioluminescent strips along the walls. In the center, on a platform surrounded by 3 concentric force fields, lay the Devourer. Lewis had seen the historical records. The creature had decimated the Valorian Third Fleet during the expansion wars. It had torn through combat mechs like tissue paper, shrugged off plasma cannons, and killed Admiral Kethrazer by simply looking at him. Or so the legends claimed. The Empire had captured it only by collapsing an entire star system's worth of gravitational nets around it, sacrificing 12 worlds in the process. What Lewis saw now was a cat. Well, not exactly a cat. It was the size of a small shuttle, covered in midnight black fur that seemed to absorb light itself. 6 eyes arranged in 2 rows of 3 glowed like dying embers. Its tail, thick as a tree trunk, twitched with lazy menace. When it yawned, revealing rows of crystalline teeth that could probably bite through a planet's crust, the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. "Oh, you're gorgeous," Orla whispered, the Devourer's eyes fixed on her, all 6 of them. Lewis's hand moved to his plasma pistol, not that it would help. Orla stepped back slowly. "It's not aggressive." She was already walking toward the force field controls. "Look at its posture. Ears forward, tail still, pupils dilated. It's curious, not hostile. It's a world killer. It's a cat." Orla began deactivating the outer force field. Alarms immediately shrieked through the facility. A very big, very powerful, probably very lonely cat. The creature rose to its feet, each movement liquid and precise. It stalked toward the weakening barrier, and Lewis could swear the station itself trembled. His every instinct screamed to run, to abort, to do anything except watch his partner stand her ground as an extinction-level threat approached. The second force field fell. Then the third. Nothing stood between Orla and the Devourer now except 15 feet of empty space and humanity's characteristic insanity. The creature sniffed the air. Then, with impossible grace for something so massive, it sat down and waited. "See?" Orla pulled a nutrient capsule from her pack, then paused. "Actually, Lewis, hand me one of those protein rations. The ones you keep saying taste like cardboard." "My rations? Why, trust me." Against his better judgment, Lewis tossed her the sealed package. Orla caught it, tore it open, and held out a piece of the compressed food brick. The Devourer leaned forward. Its breath smelled like ozone and starlight. One massive paw, tipped with claws that could shred titanium, extended toward Orla's hand. Gently, impossibly gently, it took the food from her palm and purred. The sound was like a reactor warming up, a deep thrumming that made the walls vibrate and Lewis's teeth chatter. But the creature's eyes were half closed, its posture relaxed. After a moment, it lowered its enormous head and rubbed against Orla's shoulder, nearly knocking her over. "Okay," Lewis breathed. "Okay, I see it now. Over the next hour." They fed the Devourer, whose actual name, according to Orla's translation of the ancient Valorian texts, was something approximating Shadowpaw, and learned that perhaps the galaxy's most feared creature had never been a monster at all. It had been defending its territory when the Valorians invaded. It had fought because it was frightened and alone, not because it was evil. And when Shadowpaw curled around Orla like a planet-sized house cat, purring loud enough to shake the station's foundations, Lewis understood something the Empire never had. Humans had lived alongside predators for their entire evolution. They domesticated wolves, befriended apex hunters, and learned to read the body language of creatures that could kill them with ease. What the Valorians saw as suicidal recklessness was actually humanity's greatest gift, the ability to look at something dangerous and see not just a threat, but a being. "The Emperor isn't going to believe this," Lewis said, recording Orla scratching behind Shadowpaw's ears, all 6 of them. "Good." Orla grinned up at him from where she sat, dwarfed by the massive creature that legends said had ended civilizations. "Because Shadowpaw isn't going back in that cell. We're taking her home." The Devourer, no, the cat, purred louder, and Lewis could have sworn it was smiling. Humanity had done many foolish things in its short time among the stars, but perhaps the most foolish and the most wonderful was teaching the galaxy that even monsters needed someone to understand them. And sometimes, all it took was treating them with simple kindness.